That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
What's up, man?
What's up, brother? It's been 84 years.
It's been 89 years since Pete's been in the studio. We've been traveling all over the place. We got things, that the Raleigh Fishing Show happened. Division I of the Opens happened. We're getting ready to kick off this year with Fishers and Men. We got a lot of Take a Warrior fishing events going on this year. So, check all that stuff out that we love to talk about and support. We got the Bassmaster Classic coming up, so you can see OneCast Fishing there. That's March 13th through the 15th. So check that out. While we're on that topic, we got a great show for you guys tonight. So you're definitely going to want to listen to this one. Returning guest, friend of the show, friend of ours. Super excited to have him. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. Head on over to OneCastFishing.com. Use the code TheOneCast, all one word, at checkout, and save your money on them snagless jigs, weedless nets, long neck hooks, all those soft plastics. Check out that new Alewife stinger, both in the 3.5 and 5-inch. It's a paddle tail swim bait, and that thing is pretty deadly. Also, get your hands on those Pearl Nighthawks because bed fishing is upon us, especially if you're in the Carolinas. They're not moving up just yet, but they will be. Also, when you're online, head on over to CarolinaWatersNC.com. Use the code TheOneCast, all one word, at checkout, and get all that UPF gear to stay protected from the UV rays. Use that link that we always put in the box, the description. It's scrolling around the bottom of the screen, I think, whatever. It takes you right to Hobie Eyewear. Get your hands on all the different lenses and frames that they have to offer. Check out that new whole float frame. We love those glasses. We never lose them ever because they just come right back up floating. Also, download the Deep Dive app on your app store, your Play Store, whatever you can. Pay for that annual subscription. Super cheap, and it's going to help you guys break down bodies of water with all the different features that they have to offer: tournament patterns, weather data, lake levels, and everything else that you need to break down an existing or a new body of water. And then finally, it's going to bring you to Central North Carolina, which today was like 70 degrees. I'm super pumped about that.
Yep.
And you're going to need to find a place to live. In order to do that, you need to hit up our good friend. We call him Uncle Terry Carpenter. You can get him at carpentert@hpw.com, licensed North Carolina real estate agent with Howard Perry Walson and Caldwell Banker. He's a bass fisherman. He's going to get you in the home of your dreams. Whoo, there we go.
Yeah.
Trying to streamline that.
I'm pretty excited to talk about being DTF.
I know.
Yeah.
If you don't know, we don't get into the drama of fishing very often, but when the greatest scam potentially ever in the history of tournament bass fishing is in your timeline, you got to talk about it.
Dude, this is some Wolf of Wall Street stuff that's going
on.
No,
it's Fry Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the Milli Vanilli of professional bass leagues. If you saw Taterhog and you don't know who Milli Vanilli is, one, you're super young, and I'm sorry. Google that, and you'll figure it out. GTS, as kids like to say. But yeah, super excited to have Matt on to talk about this. I think since our last one, nothing's really gone down other than if you're looking for a lake to go fish in the country and whack some good ones, I think I would go to Lake Murray, because if you didn't see the college circuit day one, 41 bags over 20 pounds. That is like incredible.
Yep.
That's crazy. Lake Murray is right now one of the hottest lakes in the country for big fish. They got big largemouth and man, they get on those what do you call them?
Those rock points.
The rock points with the herring, and man, it just looks like a lot of fun. So I think we're going to try to plan another trip down there. But yeah, everybody good? Want to get Tater on and let's do
Ben,
this thing?
You got anything for kick this thing off?
No, I'm good. I'm just watching. People are picking up those long neck hooks. So
there you go. That's a good thing. Use that.
I'll just say this: some guy just ordered like 25, and a year ago he ordered like 50 packs. So I guess it's a yearly thing for him.
He's
on them. He's
filling up to drag them big Carolina rigs or throw them speed worms around. So yeah, let's bring him on, man. Matt McBee, Taterhog himself, Taterhog Custom Lures, out there in one of our favorite places to fish, Lake Norman area, North Carolina. How you doing, Tater?
What's going on, fellas?
Not much, man. Thanks for jumping on here with us.
I was going to break in some Milli Vanilli myself, but I'm glad Pete got my joke, because of my wife, when I did that post the other day, she's like, most people aren't even going to get that. I'm like, I don't care. That's what's cool about it. I'm
Yeah,
like,
as soon as
the old
I
guy
saw it and I
did
saw the song up top, I was like, oh yeah, the old Milli Vanilli.
That 45-pounder I caught was real.
Yeah, that was you could tell it was as real as the checks and dual threat.
It was bigger. I put that picture in AI and I said, make my fish 45 pounds. And when it was done, I was like, holy cow, it's bigger than LeHue. I'm like, Shane weighs like 150.
What? Hey, before we get into what Pete already kind of talked about, wasn't there a kayak angler somewhere that caught like an 18-pound bass?
Yeah,
was that real?
Yeah, I was in Cali. He did a really good job of like hyping that up.
Yeah, so I just brought up the article because that's what I was thinking about. It was because we talked about it. He was bank fishing.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's right.
he was throwing I think some type of swim bait. Anyway, 17 pounds, 6 ounces. And
this is a different one. You're talking about there was another one, Ben, just released the weight yesterday that was kayak fishing a lake in California. He caught a 10 and a 7 and then caught an 18 3/4 on an official scale, but on his scale it was 17-12 or 17-15, something like that. So he went with that weight because he actually found he broke the law because he took the fish live out of the water to somewhere and weighed it, and apparently it's illegal in California to transport live fish. Shocking, California. So he didn't, I don't think he got in trouble, but he didn't take the official weight on the official scale, which was 18 3/4. But yeah, giant still growing out there eating them trout.
He was just trying to replicate Matt's.
But it didn't touch
fish.
Matt's 45-pounder that he caught in the dual threat fishing event.
They say timing's everything. I had a guy one time send me, and this was like 2009. He caught a 16-pounder in Bakersfield, California on the Moonshiner, but this is way before Facebook was big, or as I say, timing's everything. A 16-pound bass. It would have been a huge story now.
Yeah,
but it's not. This just kind of was like, yeah, I caught a 16-pounder. It's cool. And I don't even think I had anywhere to post it.
Like an emailed picture you just have printed out.
I still got the picture somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, but nobody, it's like, that sucks. Why couldn't it happen in 2019, not 2009?
Yeah,
anyway,
you just need to have them. You just need to repost that pic and like bring it back, right? And get it.
They'll say it's fake now. That's AI. They won't believe it.
I know. But you know what's not fake is,
or they'll say he was scoping, so it doesn't count.
Yeah. So like we said, Matt, appreciate you jumping on here with us, man, and kind of give us. We had a conversation last night, and we're gonna go into it for the audience. I know a lot of people are curious, and they want to get the angler's perspective on what's going on, and really everybody has a unique way that they got into this whole like dual threat fishing thing, and we know that there's some things going on right now, and they're trying to hunt this guy down, but how did you? I mean, people, if you don't know Matt McBee, Taterhog, you need to go to Taterhog Custom Lures. Check him out. He sells some of the best glide baits and swim baits in the game, hands down. And you can find his Hogfather Jr. now, right? Is it in Bass Pro Shops or wherever?
Yeah, I think it's in there now. And trying to think. I mean, Academy, a buddy of mine from Indiana bought some in Academy.
Okay,
Bass
cool.
Pro, Tackle Warehouse. It's pretty much, Strike King's getting it pretty much everywhere now.
Heck yeah.
So I did see. I know they're on Bass Pro online for sure.
For sure, yeah.
But certain like Cabela's, some Cabela's have them and stuff. They're pretty much anywhere Strike King stuff is.
So the bottom line is get your hands on some of them Taterhog custom lures and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I mean, tell the audience, like, and obviously us too, like, how did this whole like dual threat DTF concept come to you?
Well, I'm a big YouTube guy. I watch a lot of YouTube channels and podcasts like your podcast and other podcasts. And I had saw stuff about it. It felt like they announced it like last summer or maybe. I had heard about it. People were talking about it. And I was like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And I even talked to actually one of my other partners at Norman. I asked Haywood, I said, maybe we could do this one year because he's been wanting to travel. I said, that's kind of cool, to fish with your buddy. Be a little less stressed to have to catch 5 by yourself like most of these national trails are. I said it might be, a fun concept. So I kind of knew about it, but I was like, I'll wait and see what's going to happen with it. And maybe I'll do it in a couple years. Mm-hmm. And then fast forward to probably, I don't know, when was the first tournament? January, the middle of January?
Yeah, mid-January.
I'm thinking like a week before that, I'm pretty good friends with Matt Robertson, and he just happened to be. He was going to one of his doctor's appointments, getting his Cialis pills, and it's not far from my shop. And he was stopping by just to say hi and teasing me or whatever. And I don't know, he was wanting me to pick up an angry gill or some kind of bait or something. And he's in the garage in my shop, and the Ethan / Tim Lynn guy now, or whatever the guy's name is, just called and was telling him, about, hey, Tater, then Matt starts telling me, you might want to get in this, dude. Would you want to get in? And they got like 60, they're going to limit it to 60 boats. And the guy was telling Matt at the time, he already had 100 boats, and he's going to have to tell 40 people and give them their money back. They can't fish because they were trying to get some bigger names and some bigger social media presence. And I'm like, well, can you get me in? I mean, people know me locally, but I was like, they're probably going to want bigger names than me and some other people. And he's like, no, I think I can get you and Shane in together if you guys will fish together. So then he calls Shane real quick on the phone, and Shane, you need to do this. And I'm like, man, it don't really fit my schedule with the MPFL. And he's like, well, let's go to the first two. You can miss one, and Shane can fish one by himself. You can fish one by himself. And I started looking at the whole schedule, and I was like, he's like, man, you don't want to pass this up. If this is legit, they were telling us it was going to be free for 5 years. And he had this oil investor, and the oil investor was mad at Bass and all the leagues because his son fished this. I mean, they were laying it on thick. And I was like, wow. And he's like got all this money, and it's a write-off for him, and blah, 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 and this and that. And I was kind of skeptical, but then I was thinking, well, they've been promoting this for a while. And then you're like, well, who else is fishing it? And you start seeing all the names, and you're like, maybe there's something I don't know, so you're like, it's Florida. I'm getting ready to go to Florida in the MPFL, the first one in March at Harris. And I really haven't fished much in Florida. Of all the people at Norman, I mean, Hank and everybody that's gone down there that's considered Norman guys, Shane's probably done the best in Florida. And I'm like, man, at least I'm going to learn something with Shane for 2 weeks. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'm going to go. Why not? And for me, it was free. For Matt, Shane, and Wendell, we all had no entry. So the only money we really lost was our travel, our gas, and staying. But for us, it was, hanging out with those guys, my belly hurt for the first week. I laughed so much. Seriously, it was like a vacation for us. Yeah. And the fishing part was just the bonus, I guess.
It's crazy because it's the more that's coming out, the more stories he was telling people. Because if you watch, he called Christine Fisher to try to get her to fish with her fiance Guillermo. They're big kayak, and she's getting into the boat world, has a big social media, and she put a video out about him having called and her turning it down because when she asked where the money's coming from, he told her he was going to make it all on social media and use that to pay back the anglers. And then he's telling y'all that he's got an oil investor that's mad at Bass. So it sounds like he was spinning his web of lies.
Yeah,
to get folks to
he
fish.
He said too, in one of the things when he was on the speaker, that he ran a 140 boat tournament in East Tennessee. And I can't remember if it was what lake it was. And then when we get there, I don't know why none of us Robert G was there. I don't really know Robert, but Shane and them dude, we should have went up and said, hey, did this guy tell you ran 140? If we all would have, hindsight's, after it's over with, thinking, we should have went up and said, you ever seen this guy run a tournament? We all just kind of, he was a good liar. Kind of what Scott Martin said last night. It's the truth. We all were hoping it was real, but we still were kind of skeptical. But it was free. So you're sitting there thinking, how's he going to scam us? It's free. That's what I'm saying.
For the people he got in that were free, there was no risk. But then there are people who paid entry fees before it went free, and they have not gotten their money back, which is where I think the criminal cases or whatever it's going to be is going to come from.
If Scott's right, then only 9 or 10 people, I think that's what he said in his video, paid entry fees. This dude's a terrible scammer too. Instead of getting almost $1 million with 100 boats with 9Ks in entry fees, he got $90,000 and then whatever it costs to put I'm sure he had some cost to put some stuff on. I don't, definitely not $90K, right? Because we were talking earlier about that.
I saw the weigh-in. I don't know how much he had invested in his setup.
No, but
Well, most of the
his own
he didn't
travel
bring.
and stuff.
Oh, sorry.
But like, the dude's not very good either at scabbing. Like, it just fell apart here in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was thinking too, like, Pete, you brought up the fact that he's talking about making all this money off social media, using that money. And I'm wondering, this is all, just our conspiracy theories and stuff like that. But like, maybe he thought that with all of these big names, with all of these people coming over and promoting the heck out of it, that he was going to start making a bunch of money on social media. And that was a great way for him to take a bunch of money and pop smoke and get out of there. You know what I mean? Like, because if I remember correctly, and I was actually looking through social media yesterday, I think the very first post, and this is the other thing I want to say on it too. The very first post they made was in 2024 on dual threat fishing. And they had there was a bunch of podcasts talking about this. I don't know all the different podcasts, but there was podcasts talking about it. But really the only thing that they were doing was they were just reposting videos that existed on the internet with music behind it. And then they'd put some words on it, right? They weren't making their own unique content whatsoever. You know how you can take a video on Instagram and share it and then type in anything you want on that video? That's exactly what they were doing. So if you go back, I don't even know if
I'm looking at
website's up right now. If you go back to the very first post and then you just kind of look through the flow of what was being promoted, it was all one of them people involved in it just reposting existing people's reels and then self-promoting. And then you had a lot of the pros like yourself and Scott Martin and Rob G and everyone else. They were reposting stuff and tagging. So I think he really did probably think he was going to make a ton of money off of social media. Now, whether he ever intended on paying that to you guys was a different story. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But
I'm with you, Trey. I guess what I say when I'm with you, it's as you mentioned earlier, there's going to be court cases and stuff all probably with this.
Sure.
And, it will be interesting to find out if the plan was always the scam or if it's one of those scenarios that intentions started well, intentions did
and
not
he just
go
got in too deep. I don't know, Matt. I mean, you were
got
there,
too deep.
right?
Well,
So
some of
you
us,
got-
because a lot of us that were the free guys that came in, I guess, we all thought he had this investor that was paying it. So then we thought, well, maybe the scam is he's stealing the investor's money, or like he really did have an investor and he took the investor's money. But then I was like, because why would you go put it on? You're going to have to write checks. If the checks aren't going to be any good, eventually you're going to get caught. And then, because then you think, okay, if there was 9 of them or even on this. Some people said it was 9. Some people said it was 20. Some people said it was 15. Whatever. Say he had $200,000 of people's money, or even $100,000. If his ultimate goal was just to take those people's money, why did he even show up to Okeechobee when we all got there? He already had that money.
No,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? And then I was like, people were saying, well, he wanted to stall till he could get out of Florida. And I'm like, okay, he put the Okeechobee tournament on and some of the checks were coming back. And then he did the W-9 excuse. Hey, we don't have a W-9. He had 4 days to leave before the St. John's tournament. Yeah. Why didn't he leave then? None of it makes sense. Honestly,
I think it's a combination. He got those folks money. I mean, I don't think he ever had any intent of making it work. That's why he used a fake name as when he set it up. He was going by Ethan something, and his name's not that. What we're learning is that's not his actual name.
Yeah.
I think he truly thought getting all y'all bigger names, to fish, he was going to rake in money with social media. He was going to grind out some social media money and increase that profit and then roll. Mm-hmm. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I'm not a criminal investigator. I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
If you look at the situation, that's kind of what it appears. Yeah, I got this $200K, but I'm already in Florida. If I run these 2 derbies, I might be able to make another $200,000 on social media money because all these big names I have fishing, and then I can ghost everybody. And then clearly that didn't work.
That, or he thought the success of the first couple of tournaments would bring him additional sponsors.
It's possible.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
It's very landman like if you think about it. Like I
when-
got an oil investor.
When
okay?
did you get? Was there a point before? I mean, obviously, you went into it. You were like, everybody's saying if this is true, right? But was there a point before the first tournament where you were like, there is no way this is real? Like, was there things that started stacking up, or was it just plausible enough that it was real? That
No,
you
like
remained
well,
host?
like I told you guys earlier. I don't know if I said it on your recording, but when we first got to Okeechobee and the meeting didn't last very long, and that we were all kind of skeptical. And then he didn't know we needed weigh-in bags and stuff like that. And Scott was having to have his guy, and he didn't bring anything. He said that he had a trailer, but the guy that drove the trailer had a heart attack, and they couldn't bring the dual threat trailer down. And like
I
it
hope
was
that's
just
not
one
true.
little,
I hope it's not
yeah.
true.
And then when he
Did
Shane
this
and I
guy-
didn't make,
Has this guy
Huh?
ever fished before? Like,
I don't think so. Like it was him
is
and
he
three
even in
guys.
the
and-
bass fishing community.
Yeah, I don't think so. That was kind of when we were like, I don't know. Did this guy just luck into some big billionaire giving him a bunch of money and say, go do this? I mean, it just seemed kind of strange, I guess. But on the phone, he sounded like he knew what he was talking about. It's when you're talking to him in person and you see him, he didn't look like a fisherman, like the type that would run a trail. Put it that way.
So you show up. So you show up the first meeting. So yeah, can you describe that for the audience? Like that whole meeting deal, like everything.
Yeah, I said we get to the meeting, and there was a lot of wind that week. And the meetings, based on the rules, the last day of practice was supposed to end at 1:00. Well, since the wind was so bad most of the week of practice, he decided to extend the practice to 4:00. So we get to the meeting, and basically the meeting is, hey guys, I'm Ethan, whatever, with dual threat. I know you got to practice till 4 today. Would any of you guys like to practice till 4 on the rest of them on the last day? Everybody raise your hand if you would. And we all voted, yeah, we want to practice till 4. He's like, okay. And I know we're supposed to have a cut on the third day to 25 teams. Do you want to keep that in place, or would you guys all want to fish all 60 days? I mean, all 60 boats fish all 3 days. And they all voted for a cut. And then he goes, okay, I'm going to be texting you all your blast off numbers. Thanks for coming to the meeting. Have a nice day. And that was it. And I'm like, that was it. And I told you I met Tyler Rivette, his good friends with Shane, and Tyler's standing there. And I'm like, Tyler, do you know if it's a first light we're supposed to be here? What time are we supposed to be here? He's like, I don't know, Tater. And I'm like, do we call I'm asking questions like, where's the team tournament? Do I get a cast while Shane's calling? I don't know. Do you think there's any off limits? I don't know. That's like everybody. I guess we're gonna go find out tomorrow. And we just basically showed up, and they did have a national anthem and everything. And that seemed the tournament from the time it, we're lining the boats up, blasting off, fishing, coming in. That was fine. We got away in bags. It was kind of strange because they gave us our fish back, and we had to take them back down to our boat, put them in our live well, drive them back to the rim canal and dump them in the water. And apparently I heard a story. I don't know if this was true, but somebody put theirs back in the boat, went up and ate it to Marina, and forgot to go back and take their fish out. And the next day at boat check, when they're checking live wells, there was 5 fish dead. So that didn't look good. They forgot to dump their fish. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was kind of, yeah. And then when you heard people, when Shane and I didn't make the cut, the top 25 got a check. We're already going towards Jacksonville by then. And we're starting to see the stuff on social media. Todd Castledine and Luke Duncan started posting stuff about he asked the guys not to cash their checks. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Okay, now we're kind of getting nervous. Well, then Shane called Tyler, and Matt and them called Kyle Patrick and said, hey, you guys got a check. Did you cash your check? And they're like, yeah, we cashed it. Did it go through? Yeah, it went through. So then we were like, okay, we felt a little better when we asked someone we knew and they said it went through. But I think what happened was it'll go through out of state, maybe look like it's in your bank, and maybe they didn't check to see that it might. Sometimes it'll say pending. And then later on, the bank came back and took it back out.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense at all? Is that
Yeah,
any
100%.
like
Yeah.
that?
Yep.
The guys that won tried to go to a local bank, but they wouldn't cash it because the check was too big for an out-of-state check. So some of the guys ran into that. And then he started coming up with excuses like, hey, my investor has froze all the checks in this account because you guys didn't fill out W-9s. Well, we didn't fill out W-9s because it's your freaking meeting. You didn't have anything. He's like, I'll have all the W-9s at St. John's. So that was a delay tactic to stall some more time.
And then something about DQs, right? And he had to rework.
Yeah, and
some
then
of the
he
checks
said
or
there's
something.
DQs and people, and then he said, well, and you're thinking this guy's so unorganized. I can kind of believe this. And then we just wanted, I guess we all wanted it to be true. I mean, deep
Yeah.
down, we wanted it was fun. We wanted it to be true. And he just, and then you come back home, and I was kind of like, man, should I post about this? And I'm like, I don't know. What if he really is true? What if this guy really has froze it? If I start talking crap about it, it was free, he'll kick me out. So I didn't say anything. Nobody said anything until finally a week goes by when he says the checks are supposed to be here. The checks, I was supposed to get a $6,000 check. It wasn't in my mailbox. And then it really just started getting momentum into where it is now, where, hey, he stopped answering phone calls when people called him. I tried to call him. He didn't answer my call. And then you started thinking, okay, this was a scam.
So
I do have so I've got a
Go ahead.
question about just general tournament fishing that I don't know. So when you win and you catch a check, whether it's from Bass, MLF, MPFL, is it a legit like out of state check, or do they direct deposit it later after the event and after everything's been done, or they physically write the checks?
It depends, like MPFL, which some places will you give them if MPFL, we give them our bank router numbers and stuff, and they just automatically put it in. I think the top 10, don't ask me because I've never got to the top 10. I got a couple checks on I got one check in a follow. Woo! But mine was direct deposited. But like the top 10, I think they can get a check. Like Michelle will write them a check right then and there. I'm pretty sure.
The elites and Bass Pro Tour, direct deposit. BFLs, they give you a written check at weigh-in.
Well, yeah, BFL makes sense. I mean,
I don't know about the opens. Did you have to do any routing information or anything for the opens? Did you have to give them bank information?
Well, yeah, you got to fill out. You actually have to fill out a W-9 and stuff.
Well, yeah, but did you fill out a direct deposit form with it, like with your bank and routing number?
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure the opens print checks as well.
I think they print checks.
I don't think they direct
I didn't
deposit.
cash one either, Tater. So it doesn't matter.
I got a check one time in the open in 2012, and this is like I haven't fished many opens, but they mailed me that check, so I had to wait. I don't think
the opens. They either mail them. I'm pretty sure they don't direct deposit. They either mail them or they give you a check day of.
Yeah. So when you left Okeechobee,
What
you
was
guys
next? St. John's?
Yeah. So then you guys went to Jacksonville. You went to the St. John's. How was that tournament meeting compared to the first tournament meeting? Was it any
well,
different?
on that one, they said only one person on the team had to go, and Wendell really wanted me to take him to Bass Pro because he needed some soft plastics that he didn't have. So Matt and Shane went to that meeting. I did not go to that meeting. So I really don't know a lot. But I think it was quick.
Have to say? Did
They said it was pretty quick, and they were like it was quick and sweet. And I remember that night. That was when Matt said, "Hey Tater, you really need to fill out one of these W-9s." And he said you could text it to him, and Matt actually helped me find a W-9 form, and then I could fill it out, and then I texted it to him in case I got a check.
They didn't send you W-9s? They didn't give you?
No.
They made you go hunt it down.
They might have said, I don't know. I think he finally said they might either send us some, find it online and send it to him. And I just think that was either he was trying to steal everybody's social security number, or that's just a stall tactic. I'm more feeling like it's a stall tactic because I'm like, if he really wanted our numbers, wouldn't he had the forms and stuff right then and there?
I think that was
you'd have to be pretty organized to commit identity theft via social security number, and I don't think that.
Not only that, I would
that.
imagine a bunch of you all, maybe not individually, but I would imagine a bunch of the anglers didn't provide social security numbers in W-9. They provided their EIN for their tournament.
Some of them provided that.
So Totally.
It's actually a good. It's actually a good thing they didn't ask for your banking information.
So you cashed. You won a check there. Should have been 6,000.
Well, after that, so the St. John's, the way the St. John's worked out, everybody that finished in the top 5 was written a check at Okeechobee. But like I said, Shane and I had a horrible practice. We tore our lower unit up. We didn't do good at Okeechobee. We finished 38th. So then when we go to St. John's, remember he said he was going to DQ people from Okeechobee and all this.
Yeah.
His stall tactic at St. John's was, listen, some of you guys cashed a check when I asked you not to. Now my investors froze the account. Some of you fished where you weren't supposed to, blah, 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 blah. Some people are going to get a check that didn't get a check from Okeechobee. Some of you are going to get DQ'd. I'm going to go through all the GoPro footage before I issue a check. Give me your SD cards because we had to run GoPros. So Shane and I finished 5th. We were due $11,700 or something like that. He said, we handed him our GoPro footage, and then he said, I'll go through the GoPro footage, and once we go through all the GoPro footage, I'll send you the check. That's when I was skeptical. That actually kind of made me skeptical. I'm like, is he really going to go through 8 hours of GoPro footage of 25 teams? No. He's got 3 people. He's not going to do that. There's no way. Mm-mm. And I'm like, I don't know. So that was kind of like, and so I'm sitting here thinking when I come home, I'm like, this is 50-50. Maybe I'll get a check. Maybe I won't get a check. I have no clue.
And
that's
it's
and it was not 50-50. So the St. John's guys, the St. John's check winners never actually got a physical check to even take to the bank to go bounce. I didn't even get a collector check that I can hang on my wall somewhere that I finished 5th. I was like, dang, this sucks. I don't get many checks. I got a check. That was my saying. I got a check, but I didn't get a check. I got a check, but I didn't get a check.
We all know you. And, Scott did a good job. I know he's probably trying to, heal some wounds and stuff like that in his video.
Yeah.
But I think he was spot on. Like, granted, it's a giant scam, but it doesn't take away from the fact that you guys went out there and did your jobs, right? Like, you went out there, you busted your butt at Okeechobee, busted your butt at St. John's River. Those who won, I think Fisher and I and his partner won one. And then I don't know who the other winner was. Who won St. John's technically?
Fisher and I and his partner.
Who won Okeechobee?
Was it Herd and Herd or Herd? I don't know how to pronounce it.
So regardless, Scott said it. He was like, hey, like, you still did your job. You did a good job. And nobody can take that away from you. The only thing they're taking away from you is the fact that you're not getting paid. So
I did my job because I netted every one of Shane Lee's fish.
So let's talk about the last day at the St. John's River, which would have been, I guess, day 5 of fishing, the dual threat fishing for you, because you fished the first 2 days at Okeechobee, didn't make the cut right. Then you fished all 3 days at St. John's River because you had a 5th place finish there. At the end of the tournament, was there did a lot of the anglers start coming together and really getting upset and furious about what was going on?
No, because at the end of the St. John's, everyone was still hoping that this investor really did just put a hold on those checks because they have the W-9s. And then all the ones that got a check at St. John's, he said he wanted to go through the GoPro footage before he mailed the check.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess people weren't really raising a fit. Some people were ready. You got to remember, too, of the 60 anglers, it was only 25 on the last day. The last day felt like there was 12 people out there blasting off compared to the first day. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because and everybody was kind of talking, and we're leaving, where are you going? And we were talking about the storm that was coming and drive safe. And Shane and Matt and them were getting ready to head to the first Elite Series event there at Gunnersville. And so we were all thinking, yeah, hopefully it'll work. We get a check and this gets cleared up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, it didn't really, I didn't think they did think about mobbing the guy, I guess, at the time.
I really became skeptical when they announced that a Bitcoin was part of the championship payout.
Oh, yeah. What was that all about?
And I'm like, so you're going to pay, I think it was like $250K plus a Bitcoin, which is I don't know what they're at right now, but
Well, it
That's
See,
just-
all that stuff, I heard
It
about all
was.
that from the get-go last year.
it was
That
like
all was on there last year, I think.
I'm
by
not
the
sure.
time the
I just-
tournament happened, it crashed. It crashed during those few weeks.
Is he talking?
Oh.
I know there were some rumors going on because it went from like 100K to like 65K.
Wow.
And I think there were some
Bitcoin
rumors
did?
Yeah, Bitcoin did. Yeah,
Okay.
because gold and silver.
I can't hear what he's saying at all. I can hear you guys, but I can't hear him.
That's weird.
You can't hear
Ben,
me.
Yeah.
We can hear
Ben,
you.
He
Yeah,
was
Ben, I
talking
can
about
hear
Bit-
you.
he was talking about Bitcoin crashing, but that was for the championship, so that was still a ways out. So are you looking forward to Eufaula or?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to coming seeing you, Trey.
Yeah.
Are you going to fish?
Oh, you talking about which
know
to follow, the
initially-
Oklahoma
Yeah.
one or the Alabama
Yeah,
one?
Oklahoma Eufaula with dual threat.
Oh yeah,
You
I
think-
was
think
like,
anybody's going to
dude,
show up
I
for
got
that one?
some, because I went to a follow last year, in Oklahoma, and I still got a bunch of videos and stuff of a follow and stuff. I was like, maybe I could like do like a video of me, but like superimpose me into the background. I'm like, where is everybody? What the heck? Like I'm not ever on the air. Like, what the heck? Did I win? Nobody showed up.
Yeah. I mean, I won't be surprised if, you guys all get subpoenaed and have to.
Are you going to fish out the opens now?
Yeah,
You originally were
yeah,
gonna
I
finish
know.
Division
I
One,
messed
right?
that up. Huh? Yeah. I'm gonna fish. I plan on
The
fishing
rest
out
of
the
them.
opens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, we
Yeah.
only
So
got
technically,
3
I guess
left.
that was my scam. I had paid my $2,000 and didn't fish the open because I
Yeah.
thought this was real. So I gotta go. But I actually made an executive decision. I thought I have never fished in Florida. What are my odds of getting a check in the open versus going with Shane to St. John's and get a check with Shane? And I was right. We would have finished fifth if it was legit and won $12,000. My intuition was right on that part. 1 out of 2 is not bad, right?
I'm
No.
sure
Well,
one
like-
of the anglers or a group of them are going to get together with a lawyer and there's going to be a
Oh, yeah.
civil case and a
Oh
bunch
yeah,
of other
they're
stuff.
already doing that. Yeah, probably.
If they can
yeah.
they can't find the guy, right? They're still trying to locate where he ran off to or something. I heard.
Yeah, we got it. The anglers have a group text. I'm not real active in it. I just read what's going on, and
Apparently,
they're
on,
looking into it from what I'm hearing.
on the fishing boards.
So hopefully they find them. Sorry, Ben, I cannot hear you at all for
I
some
don't.
reason.
I don't know what's going on. Pete and Trey, can you hear me fine?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got
you're
you.
good.
We got
Or we
you.
might just
Full
have to
relay.
relay it. But apparently,
Full
apparently
relay.
We'll relay for Ben.
on the fishing boards,
Uh-huh.
this guy from pictures there, people recognized him, and I guess he built houses, but would never finish the houses for people.
So Ben said on like the fishing boards on like Bass Boat, what is this?
Central,
BBC Bass Boat Central BBC. There were people that recognized him in the pictures and said he was a home builder, but he never finished a single house that he started building.
And I think according to another person's video, like this guy's like ex-wife came forward and said, "Yeah, I know him," or ex-girlfriend.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't see that one.
I
Yep,
know
yep,
him.
Yep.
And that was the person that gave like his real name. And dude, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy, is, he's up, obviously he's in over his head. There's so many different things that's going through my head right now. I know running a fishing tournament, especially when you're taking money from people, is a great way to clean money. He may be working for another larger organization that has something over his head. There's all sorts of scenarios here, or he's just straight up doing it. I mean, you said they were running this thing with 3 people, right? Him and 2 other people.
I think it was him and 2 people that were with him, and then
Yeah.
But then he got like when he went to see, it would be like whoever runs your local tournaments at whoever
Yeah.
runs the local tournaments at Norman would have helped him out, or whoever. So Scott helped him out at Okeechobee, and then whoever, there was a guy that owned a tackle store right there at St. John's in Palatka. He kind of was the guy that helped him there and had some of his crew help. If
Yeah.
that's yeah,
So,
so it was.
he enlisted the local talent to help out. And yeah, 100%. Like a lot of tournament organizations do that. Now, national level tournament organizations don't really do a whole lot of that. I mean, the biggest national tournament circuit that we know of that runs about the skeleton crew, the biggest skeleton crew is the MPFL. They run a very skeleton crew, but they don't really enlist a lot of the local help either. But yeah, man, what an interesting situation. Did you ever just look at Matt Robertson and be like, really, dude, you had to come over to my
you just had to come to my garage that day.
I said, well, Wendell called me the other day, and only the way Wendell can say it, he's like, well, Tater, I mean, look like this. I mean, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry you didn't get your $6,000. That's going to that kind of sucks, But hey, man, we went out there. We had fun. We went to Florida. We had a good time. It was all good. Everything will be all right. Just fishing. And I was like, yeah, Wendell, I did have fun. Like, we're going to look back on it. Yeah. I mean, I'm making light of it because I didn't have as much invested. Now, honestly, I feel bad for the guys that did and have lost a lot more than I have lost.
What were the entry fees?
It was like 9K.
Well, it was supposed to be 5,000
total.
So some of those guys might have actually paid 5,000 back to back. So that's $10,000, right? Yeah. And I don't know how many did that. The weird thing is, somebody was even talking in our group text. One of the guys said he wrote a check for his entry fees, but remember how I said he sent refund checks? He never opened the envelope. He never opened this guy's envelope, and he just handed him the original envelope back. So that guy never got his check cashed. So he actually was like me, where he tried to pay early on, but he never cashed his check. And when it was turned out to be free, he just gave him his check back. So then that throws you off. You're like, if he's scamming him, why would he give that check? I mean,
why would you give
none
the check
of it
back?
makes sense, huh?
The whole thing it's weird. Ben said it's weird. It's just the whole thing that throws me is why use a fake name. There had to be some sort of devious ulterior motive if you're using a fake name. Why not just say who you are? I guess
if his name really is Tim Lynn, I think that somebody did research and said that there was warrants on his arrests already for fraud or something in the past. Somebody said,
because he went by Ethan something, right? For the
Ethan Phillips was his name.
Phillips,
that's his alias.
Sounds like a movie character.
Yeah, he should have just said Ethan Hunt.
Yeah,
but
if he would have went with like Jack Reacher, like
I want to ask, and you can relay this.
Yeah, Ben wants to ask a question.
We'll have to relay.
What'd you learn in Florida? What'd you learn in Florida fishing? I mean, you got something out of it. You went to Florida, you fished.
Yeah.
What'd you learn?
Great point, Ben. Ben wanted to know, like, you went to Okeechobee, you went to St. Johns River. Like, what are some of the big takeaways that you've learned about Florida fishing since you didn't have really much experience?
The best thing that I probably learned from Florida fishing was the pace from Shane. Like, you got to fish slower than we fished at home. I mean, but they were both kind of different because St. John's was more about the tide. When the tide was on and going out, the fish were biting. And then there was times that, like, if we caught 9 fish in an 8-hour period or 10 fish, let's say we caught 12, make it simple. Say we caught 12 fish in the whole 8 hours. We caught 9 of them when the tide was moving, and that was all in about 2 hours. And the other 6 hours, we had to grind to get those other bites.
Mm-hmm.
So that was St. John's. Okeechobee, it was once you're in the area and you find the fish, they're going to bite. Like, so so some people will say they're fishing too fast, but you're fishing really fast at practice, and all of a sudden you get a bite and you slow down and you get 20 bites.
Mm-hmm.
So you go really fast to cover water till you get a bite to find where they're at. My biggest key that I learned from Okeechobee is, if you don't know where to find any fish, drive around till you see some boats, because wherever there's 70 boats, that's where all the fish are. And that's like, which I never do that at home. You know what I mean? Where we fish, that's like wrong. You don't do that. If somebody's, but there it's like, I guess I'm going to go for the boat pattern. And it's literally the truth. Wherever you find fish, and even if you go at practice and you're by yourself on day 2 in that area, and you get a bunch of bites and you leave it, you don't want to. I guarantee you, when you come to it on the tournament, there'll be 40 boats where you found fish that you thought nobody was there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Ben, so, I don't know if you heard all that, what Tater was saying.
Yeah, I heard it all.
Okay. Can you hear Ben now?
No.
Okay.
Wild.
And that's so.
I don't know. And I can hear you guys perfect.
Yeah,
Huh?
and you're absolutely right. Like, and that was one of the big things I learned about, the Kissimmee chain, right? And so you fish Okeechobee, you fish St. John's, I fish Kissimmee, and you're getting ready to go to Harris chain. We won't talk about that because that's off limits for the MPFL. But generally speaking, that is how Florida fishing is like, not only you're talking about looking at other boats, but that doesn't mean that you're looking at like other bass boats. Like there's a lot of shiner guides that are out there, and they're taking customers out on trips and stuff. And they typically know where the populations of fish are at because they need to get their customers on fish. So that was when I was running around the Kissimmee chain, I'd look for shiner guys, right? Guys that are putting bait out to catch it for a shiner trip or shiner boats out there. And now one thing to note, if you're fishing Florida and you're trying to compete with a shiner boat, it ain't going to happen because that live bait is going to beat you 100 times to 1. But it does key you in on, hey, Okeechobee, are they in the monkey box? Are they over here, right? Are they in the rim canal? Like, where are they at? Like, primarily. And the same thing with Kissimmee. 90% of the field on Kissimmee was fishing on the southeast side of Toho. There was a reason for that, right? And that's because of the submerged vegetation and so on and so forth. So
it's water clarity too. You're trying to find the right color water too.
Sure, absolutely. So I agree. I agree with you. Big takeaway from Florida is learning how to find fish in Florida, and then when you do find, power pull down or put your trolling motor on low or whatever, and pick those areas apart because those fish are in groups a lot of times.
Yeah, it just takes a lot of time. Because everything when you go to Florida, I know Matt can't hear me, which is unfortunate.
Ben is saying everything when you go to Florida looks really good to fish, but it takes time to find them.
So good to fish.
Yep.
And you could spend days fishing the wrong stuff.
Yep. You could spend days fishing the wrong stuff.
When I went down the Harris chain like 5 years ago, whenever it was.
Well, that's why sometimes I'm sorry, did I interrupt you, Ben?
No, you're good. You're good.
That's why, like at Santee, somebody can whack 30 pounds and somebody can 0 because everything at Santee looks good. But if you're not in the right area,
that's right.
Yep. Yeah, it's similar.
100%. And when I went down to Florida and fished the Harris chain, was that 5 years ago now, 6 years ago now? Like I was not having a lot of success. I was running all over the chain, Beauclair and Little and Big Harris and Eustis, etc. I was like, hey guys, like I posted on one of the Florida Facebook pages. I just got out of the Army. I'm down here fun fishing. Like, what am I doing wrong? And a couple of guys pointed, you need to go here. Just go in this area. And it was, I won't say it because you know, it's 5
years. He can't hear you anyways, but basically what Ben was saying when he first got out of the Army.
Up there where they told me to go because that's where the fish were.
So when Ben first got out of the Army, he took a trip down to Florida and fished an area, and he couldn't get bit, and so he made a post, and people were like, "You're in Florida, but you're in the wrong area." And so they pointed him to the right area, and when he went to that area, he was able to catch a ton of fish doing it. So, but yeah, that's just like you were talking about, Matt, like scouting for where other boats are at. Like it's not illegal, but I do know what you're saying in North Carolina.
I was kind of making a joke, but but it is kind of like it seemed, and it's not like you get right next to the boats. It was like it could be like a mile stretch, and you're just like boat, and the boats are like 300 yards apart. But they're in a line on Okeechobee there, and then you run to Tin House and there's no boats, and you go to the monkey box and you see boat. Like, but there's a lot of dead water is what I'm trying to say.
1,000% there is.
So I'm saying you're going down there and you're like, all else fails, just look for boats.
Right. Two things to look for in Florida: boats and clean water.
Yeah, Ben said 2 things to look for in Florida: boats and clean water. That's really important. And St. John's River is different compared to the other chains and stuff. That's a tidal fishery that flows south to north. It's different. And like Tater was saying, for the audience, like if you ever go down St. John's River, like, and you're not used to fishing tidal fisheries, like it can be a grind. And if you don't know the tide and how it swings and stuff like that, like be prepared to not get bit for an extended period of time. The best thing you can do on the St. John's River is go look in the river systems for the shoals. where shells build up and stuff like that. And if you're using technology such as forward-facing sonar, you can go out there and usually catch fish off those shoals all the time. But there's a ton of canals and great shallow water cover pad fields and things like that you can fish, but those are subjected to the tide as well. So, but yeah, I mean, outside of all of that, you had a great time with Matt Robertson and Wendell and Shane LaHue. We know you guys traveled together.
Yep.
You know, we're coming up here on the better part of an hour, but what are some of the funny things, if you want to talk about it, what were some of the funny things or some of the cool experiences you had between Okeechobee and the St. John's?
Well, everybody's going to remember if they watch Follow Matt and the Penguin, or I said Penguin, Pelican. The Pelican.
That was good.
The Pelican was pretty funny. I'm not going to lie, and I'll tell you a little more to it. If anybody, I don't know if Matt's whole live is still up on YouTube, if you can go back and watch it, but Shane and I pulled up on them before all that incident happened, and that Pelican came in there and they were already swatting at it, like, the stupid Pelican. And, you know, and I was like, yeah, somebody must be feeding that thing. Well, then Shane and I had caught him earlier in the day about 600 yards from the Pelican spot. And we go back to it, and we were kind of working together, and we said, hey, when we're done with this, you guys might want to hit it in the last hour, you know, because it's a good spot. You watch where we're going. So I'm over there, and me and Shane are fishing. And about that time, I can see them. They're probably 600 yards away. I hear Wendell making all kinds of commotion. And I'm like, hey, what the heck? I said, Shane, I think Matt's got a fish. He's like, he does? I said, is it good? I said, I don't know. Wendell's swatting at the Pelican. I think the Pelican's trying to eat their fish. And then next thing I know, I see Matt kicking, making a drop kick. And I'm getting out my phone. I was getting out my phone, you know. And I was like, why? She's like, why are you getting out your phone? I said, I think Wendell probably carries a gun with him all the time. I said, he's probably going to shoot this Pelican. I said, I'm going to get it on video. And then I get back to the house, and Matt's like, I don't let Wendell take the gun with him. I don't let him take I was thinking the Pelican was about ready to get shot. But that Pelican was crazy. Dude, they weren't the only ones. A bunch of people must have fished that spot. They just didn't have live stream. That Pelican was diving on everybody.
Really? Yeah, he was.
Somebody had to feed that thing or something. I don't know.
For sure.
Ask Matt if he's ever caught a bird.
That was pretty funny. And then
Ben wants to know if you ever caught a pelican or a bird like that.
Because down at Murray,
have I ever caught one?
I almost caught one.
Yeah, he said when he was down at Lake Murray, he almost caught a pelican trying to steal. They
dive under the water and chase your bait.
No, I never. No, I never have.
I caught a kingfisher.
Did you really?
Yeah, and I've caught
cormorants.
I've caught seagulls before.
Yeah, those little kingfishers. I was fishing the Ohio River up there where I grew up, and I was throwing a Rapala up under overhang and twitching it, and that sucker was dove down. My dad's like, "Why'd you set the hook?" And then I'm like 13, drag this kingfisher in a boat. It's thrashing everywhere with all these treble hooks all over the place.
Oh, I bet that was a good.
Yeah, he was super proud of me.
It's like when Trey and I tried to catch the gator in Florida.
Oh yeah.
Catching
gators in Florida is my specialty, man.
Let's do it.
Actually, I do have a couple stories you want on that. Shane and I, on the first day of St. John's in the actual tournament, we had found some bedfish, and we were looking for them to move up, and we were finding them. Well, Shane flips a Cinco out just in the middle while he's looking, so it's just out there laying, you know. And all of a sudden, he's like, "Man, what's that?" And he's like, "Is it a log? Am I hung?" And he's like reeling it in, and it's a gator, probably 3.5 foot long. He didn't hook it. It's holding on to his Cinco, and he pulled it out of 7 foot of water. And I'm like, guys, that's a strong Cinco, Shane. He's like, look at this. And he finally shakes it, and finally the gator was like looking at him like, why'd you pull me off the bottom? And then he let it go, you know. It was like, he's like, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I was like, that's a tough Cinco right there.
Yeah, right. What brand is that?
This is Gary Almoda Cinco, just a regular old Cinco. I'm like, how did it not tear?
Dude, I'm telling you, that's the only place I ever caught a gator before was in the St. Johns River. I caught it on a frog a few years back, and I brought it in the boat. Luckily, he did the whole gator roll and wrapped up and tied braid around his face, and I was able to get him off. But Mike Corbishley at the first stop of Division I this year, in practice, he caught a gator flipped it in the boat. The hook came out of its mouth. He caught it on a frog, I believe. And I got the video of it. I'll have to send it to you guys. The gator's just running circles in his boat. Like he's trying to get the gator out. It's thrashing everywhere. Thank goodness it was a 3-footer. But Florida is where some of the most interesting stuff happens between pelicans, between gators. Obviously in the St. Johns River, you got a lot of manatee zones. So you got to be really careful there. A lot of idle areas and stuff like that. But, at least...
I want
Go
someone
ahead,
to
Ben.
go fish the Everglades. There's bass in the Everglades, but there's also anacondas and sharks and everything else.
Ben said he wants to go fish the Everglades because there are bass there, but there's also everything else that wants to eat you. It's basically like a mini Australia, dude. Like everything wants to kill
pretty
you
much
there. But I'm glad that you guys, that you're making light of the situation, with all things being said, with the way things shook out with dual threat, when you're hunting the good stuff, you got to fish with your buddies. You got to have some fun experiences. You got to learn some about Florida fishing, which is vastly different than anything that we fish up here. About the closest thing I'll tell you, and I don't know, Matt, if you have any experiences, Eastern North Carolina on the Roanoke, Chowan River, Pamlico, or Albemarle Sound, stuff like that. Like that's about as close to Florida as you get in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Granted, it's not true tidal like St. Johns River, but a lot of the cover and structure and
You gotta go down to Waccamaw.
the fish are the same, right? They behave a lot of the same. Yeah, Ben said whack-a-mole too. But I did want to ask you this, and this will be my last question on dual threat fishing. Did you guys sign a contract with them?
Yeah, we did. We did sign a contract.
Did you?
But it wasn't like it was real vanilla. It wasn't.
Was
like,
it vanilla? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I really read it because I was like, "Oh, wait, he said this is free. Am I signing this and now I got to pay money?" Because I was like, "Is that the scam?"
Yeah,
but no, there wasn't any. It was just your typical, if release form. If you're hurt, you can't sue us. That kind of stuff. Like
right.
Well,
kind of like that.
Did it have anything in there about if your check bounces, you can't sue us? Because
No, there was one thing in there that they didn't have to pay you for 30 days until after 30 days of the event. So, I mean, technically, I would probably be right now on like day 28, 27 of St. John's. So, I mean, technically,
You still
he could
crossing your
still pay
fingers?
me in 3 days. And
everybody's check comes
You
through
still
next,
crossing your fingers?
next week.
yeah, that'd be
Those
funny,
checks
wouldn't
aren't
it?
coming through.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Okay, well that's a great question for you then. Say in 3 days you get paid. Are you going to the third event?
I said this to somebody. I said, somebody like with Elon Musk's money, and I know exactly who the person is. They say this is the person. They pay me my money that Shane and I won, and they give me $5,000 for my travel expenses. Then I might go.
Yeah.
If somebody else did it, which I mean, you know what I mean. I mean, if there's another. If somebody else stepped up and decided this is a great idea and hey, we want to do this, yeah, I'd do it.
I think it is.
We
a great
actually
idea.
had fun. Like it's fun. I wish it's that's the sad part about it is because people, like Scott said, him and his daughter changed, like she changed her schedule around it. And
Yep.
there are a lot of people changed their schedule to try to do this, I guess. So and we actually had fun, dude. It was like a club tournament again. It wasn't. It was like we have it at home. It was like a local tournament at home where you pay $50 and you're fishing for $500.
Is the team
That was the
tournament
feel.
more
Is the Ben? Can you hear Ben or no?
fun? No,
No,
yeah.
I don't.
So
ever
is-
since Ben, you left that one time, and then you came back. And when you left and came back the first time, I haven't been able to hear you.
So he wanted to know is the team format. So you fish the MPFL. For those who don't know, Matt Taterhog McBee fishes the National Professional Fishing League. This will be your third year on tour with them, right?
That is correct.
And MPFL individual tournaments, no co-anglers. If you're lucky enough to get a camera guy because you're doing well, you might have somebody else in the boat, or you have a media ride-along guy, depending on who you are. But it's an individual tournament, like the Bassmaster Open's individual tournament, right? MLF Pro Circuit individual tournament. Well, is the team series, is it more fun for you?
Probably because most of my experience fishing at Norman was always with a buddy. I mean, I fished it by myself because my buddy didn't show up. So I always enjoyed the team format. I never really enjoyed. I mean, I fished BFLs, but I didn't like. It wasn't. It's not. I don't have anything against co-anglers. I just didn't like meeting somebody that morning and they're in my boat and and I met some nice people, but it's just different. It just puts a different feel on it, I guess.
Right.
So I enjoy either I'd rather fish by myself or fish with somebody that I know.
Yep.
But between the two, I'd rather fish with somebody I know.
Right.
Like I'd rather fish a team tournament than individual. I'm probably more of a team fisherman than I am an individual fisherman.
Yep.
Team, I've always done better on the team formats in my career.
I feel like you can get in your head a lot more when you're fishing individual tournaments. Like Pete and I fish Fisher's Men, and that stuff right there. Like at the end of the day, even if you suck together, and you still have some fun. But when you're on your boat by yourself for 8 hours in a tournament, it's a lonely feeling when you're not catching them. You know what I mean?
But when your partner catches 2 real quick, it fires you up. Yeah, and if you're by yourself, you got to catch 5. Well, your partner just caught 2. Well, now you only got to catch 3 in your head.
That's right.
And I think the other great thing is, at least from watching some team tournaments, like the conversation, the banter, just the viewership experience is a little bit better, to be honest. Like
the conversation, the banter, the cutting up, all that. It's from a viewership perspective, it's a lot better, right? In MLF, they have that team series, or they did have that team series the last few years, and that's actually pretty entertaining to watch because they're working as a team together and stuff like that. So it makes for good TV, right? I'm glad that Robertson live streamed his stuff. Really wish you guys would have live streamed too, because people really, I think a lot of people that they enjoy that. Bass changed, at least on the Elite Series, they got some 3 or 4 anglers that they're live streaming outside of what the camera boats have, or the camera guys going on with Bassmaster.com. So they're taking a pretty different approach to it. So, but that stuff right there, man, that makes for good viewership, because at the end of the day, if you're scoping or not scoping, it doesn't matter. You're still looking at the back of a dude throwing a bait in the water. So it doesn't really make a difference. But when you're cutting up like you and Shane and Matt and Wendell and probably Scott and his daughter and all the other teams out there, I'm sure there's really, really cool content to see. I really hate the fact that this really turned out to be such a giant scam, because this would have been so great for the competitive bass fishing community. We've been talking about it for years. I know we've had conversations with other tournament organizations to have a national level team trail outside of like the Alabama Bass Trail, which is really big in Alabama, of course. It really is a great concept, man. So maybe, somebody in the future that doesn't have malicious intent, or maybe, whatever, they bring this full scale. Maybe you're going to have to rebrand it, but, and maybe in 3 days you'll get a check, man. Hopefully, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, man. So what are you looking forward to next? What do you got going on next?
Let's see. I guess I'm looking forward to going back to Florida for the first MP. I didn't make the championship. The championship that's going off next week is the top 40, and Tater was not in the top 40. I'm sorry, but it's okay. I'm looking forward to the start of the MPFL season. Our first one is at Harris Chain, the middle of March.
Yep.
I think the 15th, 20th, something like that. I have to look at my schedule. Yep. I had so many different things because I'm fishing the opens with you. Then I ended up getting in this dual threat, and then I was going to do the MPFL. Some of them were conflicting. Like at one time, I was like going to have to go to Texas, see how I was doing in the dual threat, decide if I want to fish the third day of the MPFL if I was, in check range, or drive all night and jump in the boat at Guntersville with Shane to fish the dual threat if it was real. So I was going to be all over the place driving back and forth to make this work.
Yeah. So, you're gonna. So were you? So for dual threat, you were fishing out of Shane's boat, right? But obviously,
well, I was going to have to fish the next one. If it would have been real, Shane was going to pre-practice. They got something for the Classic that Shane didn't want to miss, a pre-practice. I was going to actually have to fish a follow by myself.
Oh, okay.
I was going to go with Matt. It was going to be me, Matt, and Wendell.
Is that the
but I was comfortable with the follow because I got my first check. The only check I've ever gotten the MPFL was that follow, so I was actually looking forward to that.
Well, hey, we're gonna be. You
Jason
follow
Christie in
Al.
the fall.
You guys will be.
That's
in your
right.
follow-
Yeah. So
But my three little bushes would not been there. Remember that story? Put all my fish off the 3 bushes.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dude, if they would have been in the dirt, I would have dug them up and put them back in the lake. Because they're like Jack and the Beanstalk magic bushes.
Those are the magic bushes. Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm with you.
I
Matt.
will sell those
Trey,
bushes
find
to
any
anyone
magic
that wants to
bushes
know.
that you follow?
Venmo me.
what'd you
Sorry,
say, Ben? What'd
I
you
said,
say?
Trey, you find any magic bushes that the other you follow?
I'm going to tell you right now, I found some magic brush piles in Eufaula, Alabama. But Matt and I were talking last night, and for anybody, for the audience, if you're ever considering going down and fishing Lake Eufaula, first and foremost, Alabama, make sure you download the Deep Dive app, because that's going to help you guys out a lot. But also, most important piece of technology on that lake isn't forward-facing sonar, isn't side scan. It's a good mapping product, because there are channels there. The lake is vastly different on the northern end to the southern end. And you can really define it by the big bridge that cuts over. There's a bridge, then there's a railroad bridge. And so the northern end of that lake, totally different than the southern end of the lake. So Matt and I were talking about it. He didn't get the chance to go pre-practice it before the off limits period. So when we get there for official practice, he's probably just going to follow me out of the channel markers. That way you can safely create a trail. And that's really important. And I don't care if anybody's a competitor. Hey, follow me, because I have a track. I know where you can run safely. I'm sure there's some areas you can cut corners. I'm not a local there. Matt's not a local there. And dude, I'll tell you this right now. This was my experience from pre-practice down there. And this is the disadvantage of having a boat with a wrap on it, is I went up to a local that was fishing offshore, total innocence. And I asked him, I said, hey, I'm not from here. I see a lot of these stump fields everywhere. I see arbitrary marker buoys on the map, but they're not physical marker buoys. Do I need to stay in the creek channel? Can I run straight across? And he wanted nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with me, dude. He totally thought that I was stealing his fishing spot. He said 3 words to me, and I was like, okay, I guess he doesn't want me there. So I dropped a waypoint right where he was fishing, and I kept going.
Yeah, we know what you really went over there for. You don't have to lie to us.
No, straight up, dude. Because I travel with Mike.
I mean, it's true. I mean, look at Jordan Lake and the S turds. Like when the water is high or normal.
Yeah, Jordan Lake's like that.
Like you can run right across in the S turns, like on the right hand, if you're coming from Pose north, like on the right hand side, that island. But if it's like 3 feet low, I don't risk it. I go through the channel because I know
you're on that, but sucker when it's like 4.5. I've done.
Well, it's the same thing with Norman.
So I've done some scarier stuff, but
yeah, you're good on that one.
I mean,
that little sandbar ain't gonna hurt
look, Eufaula, Alabama is not. It's not scarier than where Matt was at last year with the MPFL. Santee Cooper.
I hate
Santee Cooper and Lake Seminole, man. Those 2 places right there, outside of some of the places down in Texas, they're very hazardous. A lot of
put that leash
timber
on your boat, put her on the plug, and let her eat, bud.
That's where everyone says, if you can't see it, Tater. When I first went to Santee, I was asking some people. I think it was Joey Sabaga from McMurray guy. And I was asking Joey, I was like, Joey, when I run from, because you could run the channel, but nobody wants to run the channel.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, if I go across the 95 bridge on the south side, I want to go down to Tall Claw, or was it Tall Claw? Yeah, whatever it's called. I don't go to Santee that much. He's like, well, you can run the lines, get on the lines of the docks, get out about 200 yards, but don't go more than 300 yards, but don't go closer than 200 yards. Don't get too close, but don't go too far. And he's like, then you see a line of poles and get kind of about 50 yards from them, and then you're right in there to Tall Claw. And I'm like, okay. And then you put your side imaging down, and you just side image where you're running, and you see stop, and you're like, oh my gosh, I was nervous the whole. I hate Santee. I don't even like running around.
You weren't going fast enough, because when you go fast
Ben
enough,
said you weren't going fast enough. You'll just skip across the top of it.
Yeah, I do it all the time. It's fine. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, man. I think that's fishing this year on the opens, and you've been on the MPFL for years. Outside of tournament finishes, you're really, you're paying for an education. if you think about it from that perspective. It's
Yeah.
like taking college classes, man. Like I'm getting so many credit hours going out here, and like, you know, I hit brush piles in the middle of Kissimmee, like Lake Kissimmee. Had no idea they were there. They're not marked. They're sticking out of the water, but when there's 3-foot waves, you can't see them until you're right on top of them. You're just like right over the top of them. You're like, oh wow, that just happened, right? So
That's like the hydrilla.
Hydrilla flats, like not knowing where those are at because you can't see them until you're on top of them.
Yeah,
right?
that got me in trouble.
Yeah, Ben blew his motor up down in Florida.
Well, it didn't blow up. It didn't blow
oh,
up. There was actually no problem. When
You
I got up
weren't going
there,
fast
it was
enough.
fine, but like,
Yeah.
it quit working down there.
Yeah,
Hey,
quit
tell Ben
working.
he can talk. Hey, tell Ben he can talk all he wants about the Harris chain because I can't hear nothing.
Well, that was Kissimmee, but I could talk to Harris Chain, but it's like 6
he
years
was talking
old.
about Kissimmee.
I know, I'm joking. That was a joke.
Well, man, we're we're really excited for you. You know, you got a great year coming up with the MPFL. You know, Bassmaster Division I of the Opens is coming to your neck of the woods. I'm definitely going to lean on you. If you can finish first and I can finish second, that'll be great. We're not worried about Shane and Matt Robertson. Like, no, we're not having. No, I'm just kidding. But looking forward to the MPFL kicking off the 2026 season. Looking forward to having you along. At least for Eufaula and Norman and possibly Lake Erie and stuff like that. And it's going to be a busy year, a lot of traveling and stuff. But for the audience, before we get ready to end here, do you have any like last words, like with this whole like dual threat fishing thing? And if you want to say any last words about it before, this thing goes into massive investigation.
I guess I just want to say I feel bad for the guys that really did invest a lot of money into the thing. I mean, my personality is a fun-loving person that's really I trust humanity in general, and it's helped me be that over time. I always trust everyone, I guess. The world's kind of changing now where you can't be that way. You got to be skeptical of everything, but overall, I've had more, I guess my words aren't coming out right. More people are good than are bad in the world.
Sure.
Is what I'm trying to say. There is still a lot of bad, but there's still a lot of good if you out there. There's way more good than bad is what I'm trying to say.
Agreed,
you can't be
man.
scared to try something new.
Right.
You don't know until you try.
Right.
We tried. We fished around and found out.
Yeah, FAFO. That's the new meaning, right? Fish around and find out. Hang on for us. We're gonna close this down, Matt. Hang out with us as we end this show. We appreciate you. Spending some time with us this evening. Ben, we know Matt can't hear you. You got anything for Matt before we jump off here? Pete, you good?
I'm good, man. Appreciate you jumping on and talking about this with us.
And guys, like Matt said, like, don't be scared to try, new things. This was a great concept for the fishing industry. But you know what? It's not what we stand for. What we stand for is growing a culture of anglers, helping anglers one cast at a time.